Welcome back to part 2 of the Paranormal Activity review. This time we're doing the next 3 movies, the Paranormal Activity 4, the marked ones, aka the Mexican version. I'm just kidding. And the very last one, sadly, the Ghost Dimensions.
And Jay forgot to, or my brother over here forgot to say, he's Z3 Trinity.
Oh, I did that in the last video.
And I'm Batman Dragon. Well, they might not have watched the first part.
Well, on the title it says part 2, people.
But they might not watch the first part. But again, I'm Batman Dragon. I want to be recognized that I am here.
Fine, I am Z3KO Trinity.
Yeah. Alright, but like
this
you said...
is Movie Monday, even though it's not Monday.
We're making up for it. Alright, so we're going to move on to go ahead and get this bandwagon on the roll. This is Paranormal Activity 4. This is the waste of time
that kind of changes everything. Like, when you watch the first 3 movies, you're like, okay, I can kind of understand where this is going to go. Then you watch this one, you're like, okay, never mind.
It also just doesn't make sense in general, because, like I said, really the one that ruins it all is the 6th one. Once the 6th one comes out, it just literally throws everything out the door from the first 4 movies. But this one, it's 2011. It's after Hunter's been taken, and in the second one, Hunter was a little baby. So in this one, Hunter is now being called Wyatt, and he's in a whole other family with a sister and a mom and dad.
But that was supposed to be the surprise twist of the movie.
Yeah.
Because in the movie, Katie Featherston is the next door neighbor of these new people.
She goes crazy one night.
And she has a son, and we think, oh, well, that's obviously Hunter. But it's not. It's some other demon-loving child, whatever he is. But then, you know, she goes crazy or gets sick.
Something happens to her in the hospital.
She has to go.
Cops coming, so that kid has to stay with Wyatt and
his family.
His family, which again they never mention about anything else about the other boy that was with her whatsoever throughout the whole rest of the movie series. The teenage girl was the mode focus here, and I think the best part about this one is the laptop camera angle.
Yeah, I thought that was really interesting.
It's the webcam thing, and you have her boyfriend talk to her on the thing, and then there's something behind her. I mean, it's just...
and that movie actually had a lot more creepier scenes in it than compared to the other ones, I believe. Like, I really, really enjoyed that movie so much. And that movie even made me theorize that there's actually 2 demons. Because there's this Toby creature, the main demon of the whole thing, and every time he is mentioned, everyone always mentions him as being, like, super tall. Like, the kids always, like, in the movie, when you're watching it, the kids are talking to him, they're like, "Hi, Toby."
That's not appropriate.
No, but they're just like, "Hey, Toby, what's up? You want me to kill my family now?"
Yeah, and in this one, you have this little child one that's running with them.
In this one, it shows a childlike figure. And even in the third movie, the cloak over it, it was like 3 foot tall at least, and then the cloak drops. That made me think, okay, that's really cool. There's 2 demons. Maybe in the future movies, we're going to learn that, oh my gosh, there's a second demon, you know, maybe a good demon that's trying to actually fight against this Toby demon, you know, trying to help the kids, you know, get away from this Toby demon. But no, they just completely threw that whole idea out the wall.
But I mean, this one, it kind of introduced again the cult thing from like the third movie, and the cult comes in and murders this teenage girl and her whole family, and then Hunter goes somewhere.
It introduces like there's, and not only is there grandma involved, like this movie shows that several elderly women, because it's elderly women who, you know, want to bring this Toby back, but. You know,
and that dude from the 6th
anyway.
one,
but,
the dude guy. Whatever.
Oh yeah, and the one dude with the huge wanker, probably. No, I'm just playing. No, it's just one guy. One guy, and
Gold.
It's all those elderly women.
Yeah.
He's like, "Hey, y'all." I could see him at like a retirement party going, "Hey, I want to bring back a demon."
But
did you say Matt Damon?
I like this movie when I watched it because I like some of the things about it. I like the Xbox One, the Kinect.
Yeah, that
Xbox
was
One.
cool.
I like that. I just think this film just kind of started the whole moving the story in the complete opposite direction of what it started, and then they just continue each movie to make it more confusing. And the guy said by the 6th movie he wanted to answer all the questions that hadn't been answered yet. And I'm sorry, but you just made more questions and didn't answer some of the ones you had.
But for me, for that movie, I really love that movie. The only confusing part was the whole why it was actually Hunter ordeal. I don't understand why Katie had to put him up for adoption to begin with. I don't either. I don't know if that's part of a
in my opinion, this is just an excuse to murder a whole other family and then move on.
Yeah, but anyway, the scariest part to me in that movie was probably when Katie took off bursting, running, blasts through this door, and her face is all demonic. That part to me was freaky. That made me jump pretty.
My scary scene, it really wasn't super scary, but it was whenever she was in the house by herself talking to her boyfriend on a laptop, and they have that security system, and that thing goes off if someone's in. Open. Yeah, and when they go, she shuts the door, and then the front door open. I mean, that stuff just scared me because I was like, oh my god, there's someone in her house. Which, of course, there is. Katie is in their house at some random points, so it's not just a ghost. But it's. I mean, could you imagine being home and all of a sudden all you hear is back door open, and there's nobody at the back door?
Parents aren't supposed to be home soon.
I mean, that scares me, anyways. Yeah.
But we're going to move on to the next one, the marked ones.
The minority of the films. That is not racist. I'm just saying it literally makes no sense. Okay, that also sounds wrong. It's just, it completely doesn't make sense with the rest of the movies. To be fair,
when we saw the trailers to it, I was like, okay, it's not called Paranormal Activity 5. And I was like, the marked ones, what the heck? And once you learn the concept of, everyone that this demon bites turns them into, this own demon bodyguard, maybe?
And apparently they were
like, okay, well, that's a decent
chosen
idea,
at birth to be the marked ones anyways. And, each one of these kids or family members had given their child up, their firstborn sons, to this demon. But... Again, 6th movie throws all that out the door. Again, but this movie continues that story of them being...
that movie, I did not think it was going to be any good whatsoever. Not because it's a Mexican, movie. But it's just, when I saw the trailers, I was like, okay, they are going to completely ruin an already questionable movie series. But when we went and saw it in theaters, it actually blew my mind, especially the ending. Because it connects with the movies just perfectly. The whole ending where the guy runs through the dimension door, which introduces the whole dimension thing, goes through time, maybe? And
which goes makes into sense. The time travel door. Makes sense.
Yeah, and goes to the door right where Katie is there, and she starts screaming, America, America, and that's when you realize that that's the end of the first movie.
Yeah. Scary scene for me in this one is... It's not really scary, it's just gross. He's pulling this, long string out of the corner of his eye.
I guess it's the hair.
Yeah, it makes me want to vomit, just seeing
But whose hair? Is it the witch, the Mexican
that was kind of creepy, and I also like the,
I personally like where the trap door kind of opens, and the girl is looking at the girl that the guy's wanting to have sex with, peers down it, and then this hand comes up and just grabs her. I thought that whole... scene with the whole trapdoor, guy going down it, everything about that trapdoor, I personally thought was creepy. But we're going to move on to the final, depressingly final, Paranormal Activity movie, The Ghost Dimensions, the best movie of them all until I realized that it was the last movie of the whole series. And the reason why I hate it so much, I'm going to just go ahead and say it, I know you've been watching the whole video the whole time, so you already know the spoilers of each movie, but... freaking ending the movie with Toby getting a human form, which still has godlike powers, apparently, and can just go around, slap people with his wiener whenever he wants. Just kills... he wins. End. End story.
So,
perfect story right there.
The gist of this movie that ruins all the other ones is the whole time you're thinking that there's this cult that sacrificed their firstborn son to do for something. And in this one, you learn that the whole purpose of this was to get Hunter and this little girl,
random-ass girl,
because they are born on the same day. Apparently, to summon Toby, you have to have two children born on the same day, one girl and one boy. That was never mentioned once throughout any Paranormal Activity movie at all. And all of a sudden, this movie does.
And I want to know where these marked ones went.
Yeah, that movie was literally like, done. And they moved on to something else.
All the kids that they claimed, were bitten, you become part of the demon, whatever.
Just moved on.
Now, I could understand if they were like a bodyguard for this demon, like they were wanting to summon Toby, and the parents or whatever go to stop them, and then you see the Mexican guy, I can't remember his name, but just Hernandez. A bunch of different men, boys that were given up. I can understand if it was like an army of them trying to stop them. Jesse? Yeah. Okay. An army of them trying to stop them from, stopping the demon coming alive. I can understand that. But no, this... Oh, marked ones? What did you say?
Unless all those cult leaders were marked ones.
The women, I guess.
But in this movie, this family moves into this house because they get a really, really good deal on it because it's like really cheap or whatever.
From their
and you come to find out the house...
Katie.
Yeah, Katie was a realtor, obviously.
By the way, Katie, you're hot.
But what happens is the house gets burned down, and the house that got burned down, that someone rebuilt the house right on top of it, and the people who own the house, Katie basically, sold this house to this family because they now found out that this girl,
their daughter,
is
was
born
the same day as Hunter. So she is automatically
connected to it, and she's the chosen one. So this whole film has this family finding all these tapes in the house, which was the lost tapes from the second movie. Like I said, they did full circle things. The tapes are here. You have all this stuff. The third movie comes back into play. The house that burned down is back into play. And then Hunter comes back into play because apparently where Katie took Hunter after the fourth movie was to the past with the young Katie and Christy.
Yeah.
And that's where they summoned the demon.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where they brought this girl at the end of the movie.
And that's why I really enjoyed
And the Ghost Dimension is the portal
actually
on the front.
Makes sense to the point where the very ending happened. Like, after I watched it, I was like, okay, I really love this series. Can't wait to see the next movie. Maybe the next movie they could finally kill this Toby now that he has human form. We could finally stop this creature, And then my brother actually looked it up and said, oh, what's this? There isn't going to be any more?
Yeah.
And
from what I understand, the guy who made this film said that this was the full circle. This explains everything. That's why this is the first film that's had an alternate ending since the first one. Because this film has the alternate ending that shows it ending happily instead of bad.
Well,
like the
both of them are kind of bad. But it's...
Well, ambiguous.
The original ending, everyone dies, of course. Like
everybody dies. Katie, or the little girl, gets brought to the other world, and then they summon Toby.
Yeah.
Whereas the alternate endings both take place after Toby was stopped in that thing where they threw him in the pit thing and he stopped. Apparently that ended him in the alternate ending.
Yeah, there's two alternate endings. One, they're moving to a different location. Everyone's perfectly fine. The guy drops a box accidentally, and there's a videotape, a VHS tape in there. So he destroys it. He doesn't want nothing to do with it. He says, no more tapes. And then their daughter just randomly goes, look, Mom, here's my friends. And it's like two teenage girls, which
they look exactly like Katie and Christy.
Creepy as hell, by the way. Next alternate ending, the daughter's birthday, the mom's pregnant again, and the cult leader is there, just kind of like, happy birthday, touch booty. And then, she's like, what did you wish for, honey? And she said, I wish you have a boy.
A baby brother.
Basically meaning they're going to restart the entire story. Which I would have been fine with if they plan to continue.
But still, that's a better ending than this. But the biggest part about this movie that was really good was the fact that this is the first time you saw the activity where, as all the other movies, there was just something happening, and you know that there's something invisible doing something. Yeah. But this, you see the activity because you actually see this
perfect. I love
this clear see-through thing that when you walk in, it feels like water.
Really quickly, we're running out of time.
And then the rest of it's all
What's your favorite scene? Mine was the Santa Claus scene. Scariest thing I've ever seen in my life. That Santa Claus standing there.
Yeah, I have to agree. The Santa Claus part was the scariest part of this movie. If they would have answered certain questions along the way without doing this, I would have loved the series better. Overall, it's still good. I do recommend people watch it.
Yeah, I recommend you watch it. I love them.
Think they're as good
I wish to God they would have made another. I wish to God they would have made another. At least wrap it up with one more movie. Yeah. But anyway, that's our review. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next video.